Don't move. If you move, there's a canine in my car. You're gonna get dog bit.
I wasn't.
Stop moving your hands!
On June 3rd of last year, I posted the video showing 22-year-old Paul Wert sitting on a bench outside the CVS store where he worked. He had just gotten off work.
ID card. Something with your name on it.
That's my ride. I'm gonna go ahead and go.
No, you're not.
The store had closed about 7 minutes earlier, and then here comes Edgewater police officer Daniel Rippeon.
You can make an emergency, please. I got one resisting.
Sir, I work here, sir. I just got off work. You don't believe me?
Dude, you're gonna get tased.
Okay, I work here.
Turn around.
I work.
Stand up and turn around.
Okay, I work here, sir.
Put your hands behind your back. Don't move.
Officer Rippeon observed Paul and concluded that he looked suspicious. No crime had been committed, no crime had been alleged by anyone to have been committed, yet Paul was almost immediately seized and threatened with being tased and bitten by a police canine.
Stop moving your hands.
In the end, he was taken to jail despite the fact that Officer Rippeon was fully aware that Paul was a store employee just there waiting for a Lyft driver to go home.
Are you gonna talk or? No? Okay. That's fine.
It's now been 9 months, and I have all the updates for you straight from Paul's lawyer. Let's go through it. These subscription services are tied to our credit cards, and they've made it almost impossible to even cancel them. It's a huge problem. Even now, when we get new credit cards, they use the old numbers so that these subscriptions continue even if we don't want them anymore. And that's why I use an app that manages that for me and that allows me to cancel unwanted subscriptions. That app is this video's sponsor, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance app that helps you save more and spend less. It allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, build a custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place. But my favorite part of using Rocket Money is that it securely identifies recurring charges and allows you to cancel them with just a few taps. You never have to get on the phone, they do it for you. You can also use it to lower your bills. Rocket Money will automatically scan your bills to find savings. With just a couple of taps, Rocket Money can help negotiate your bills for you. No customer service calls, you just let the app's negotiators do it for you. Go to rocketmoney.com/civil or click the link in the description to get started for free. You can also unlock even more features with premium. That's rocketmoney.com/civil to get started for free. Now let's get back to this video.
I see you sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'm pulling up, you're hiding behind the pillars of a closed business. How's that look, dude?
You say hiding, I just got up to put my hoodie on. That's all I did.
Do you really work here?
I swear to God I work. Look up what time CVS closes. Look up what time CVS closes. It's 10 o'clock.
You got your ID card on you?
I didn't do anything wrong, sir. I got off work and my manager just left. His name is Mike.
So June 3rd, 2025, I posted this video of Paul, which as of now has amassed 5.7 million views. About 2 million of those views happened in the first 24 hours. So clearly the public was outraged to see that footage. Just that video being watched and being shared and being discussed brought real world results almost immediately. The wheels of justice basically sped up. So just the following day, on June 4th, the state of Florida dropped the criminal charges against Paul. Also on June 4th, the police chief announced that as a result of the attention surrounding the video, Officer Rippeon had been placed on administrative leave pending an internal affairs investigation into the incident. Next thing you know, boom, Officer Rippeon is gone from that department in like 24 hours. But there's more to that story, which I'll come back to. The investigation should have been pretty easy because the entire incident was caught on Officer Rippeon's body cam.
That's my ride. I'm gonna go ahead and go.
No, you're not.
On June 6th, only 3 days after the initial video, I posted an update video after Officer Rippeon was apparently fired from the Edgewater Police Department. But we now know that it's not that simple. Apparently what happened was after the chief announced that there was going to be this internal investigation and he was on administrative leave, they ended up allowing Rippeon to basically resign or separate, as they call it. Why? Because apparently Daniel Rippeon can then basically pretend like he didn't resign as a result of being under investigation for misconduct and then just pop up somewhere else. Did he? Well, I asked Paul's lawyer about that, so we'll get to that here shortly. After the initial video, Paul's family reached out to me about help finding a civil rights lawyer in Florida who could help Paul get justice for what happened here. So I referred them to a guy named Dan Faherty out of Titusville, Florida. Dan has handled a number of other civil rights cases that have been featured on this channel, and I've interviewed him before. Thankfully, Dan was interested in taking Paul's case, and today I got a chance to talk to him about everything that's happened since the original video, as well as what's happening now. Tell me your thoughts on the video of the encounter between Officer Rippeon and Mr. Wert.
The video that I saw was disturbing from the outset.
I didn't break any laws, sir. So
Stop, dude.
Because of the aggressive behavior of this police officer.
You can make an emergency, please. I got one resisting.
I work here, sir. I just got off work.
From the very beginning, just the tone of his voice was aggressive. It was mean. It was bullying.
You don't have any questions for me?
Do
you understand why you're getting arrested?
I was just sitting there. I got off.
Do you understand why you're getting arrested?
My lift came.
I'll pull this back so you don't get too hot.
No. Put my hoodie back on, sir.
Nope.
It really shocked me that this was the interaction between a member of law enforcement and a kid sitting on a bench outside a CVS that had just closed at 10 o'clock.
Do you really work here?
I swear to God I work here. But what time is it? Can you tell me what time it is? Just tell me what time it is.
Which the officer knew. He was from Edgewater. He was an Edgewater police officer. That was his beat.
What's your name?
Look up what time CVS closes. It's 10 o'clock.
You got your ID card on you?
I didn't do anything wrong, sir.
What I would consider good trained policing would have been the officer pulls up in his car, rolls down his window, doesn't even get out of his car, just rolls down his window, asks this young man who's sitting there if he's okay and if the officer can help in any way, to which Paul would have replied, nope, just got off work, waiting for my Lyft ride, and everything's fine. And the officer would have said, do you want me to hang around for a couple of minutes to make sure he shows? And Paul would have said, no, I already got the message. He's on his way, but thanks. And the officer would have said, have a good night, and rolled his window up and left the parking lot. That would have been good policing.
I'm your ride. This is my ride. Just 1 second.
No. I'll talk to him for a second. Hey, you're good to go. He doesn't need a ride anymore. I'm gonna give him one. I said he called a Lyft or something, I think.
Yeah, we're on the Lyft.
Yeah, I got one for him. So you're free to go.
Yeah.
You can cancel it or something. He might get arrested.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to figure out with her to cancel it. So.
Okay, I got you. You can hang out then. All right, I appreciate it.
I saw an invitation for the citizen, for the member of the public he was encountering, to react negatively. That to me was the invitation that the police officer was giving this young man was, I'm going to start yelling and screaming at you so that you will do the same to me, and I can then justify the use of force that's in my hand already pointed at you, which was the taser.
Dude, you're going to get tased.
Okay, I work here.
Turn around.
My client was very calm under the circumstances.
Stand up and turn around.
Okay, I work here, sir.
Put your hands behind your back. Don't move.
He was appropriate. He was cooperative. He believed when he saw his Lyft driver that he could walk away because he had done nothing wrong, nothing illegal, nothing suspicious. He was just a kid who just got off work and was going home. So I thought his behavior was normal, and I thought this police officer was really poking him to try to get a negative reaction.
So you don't want me to explain to you? You're good? I want to explain to you. I think I dictated a little bit what was going on. You look, it was very strange, dude. Closed business. I pull up, you're hiding behind the pole. So I get out with you, okay? I asked you to identify yourself, then you asked me to detain. I tell you you are detained, okay? Because Lord and Prowling, I can investigate that. Although I'm not going to charge you with that, nor I'm going to go further in that. I asked you to identify yourself. If you fail to do that, I'm going to charge you with resisting, okay?
What ended up happening with Paul's criminal charge?
The criminal charge was what's called a no information from the assistant state attorney, and that was a prosecutorial decision to not prosecute this case at all and dismiss it. And that happened, I believe, within weeks or no later than a month after the arrest.
It was the day after I put the video up.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
What ended up happening with Officer Rippeon?
I received, as part of my Freedom of Information Act request to the city, Officer Rippion's personnel file. And what I found in there was a separation, that is his notification to the city that he was terminating his employment. That happened within a couple of weeks of this arrest. All the city indicated was that he was separated from his employment and that it was not as a result of any misconduct. That was the paperwork in his personnel file. There was no other reason given, no reason at all given for his separation.
Do you believe that to be true?
Oh, I do not. I do not believe that to be true. This is a police officer who, at the scene, advised his own supervisor that he believed, Paul, that he actually did work at the CVS, that he was employed there, and that he was waiting on a ride. And of course, the Lyft driver who appeared at the scene confirmed that he was there to give Mr. Wert a ride home.
He called a Lyft or something, I think.
Yeah, we're on the Lyft.
Yeah, I got one for him.
The police officer, informed the Lyft driver, he doesn't need a ride. I'm going to give him a ride.
I got one for him, so you're free to go.
Yeah.
You can cancel it or something. He might get arrested. So
I think by the time my client got out of jail 2.5 days later, that this officer knew what was coming.
Tell me about the pre-suit demand that you filed or that you sent.
The demand that we sent along with our sovereign immunity notice letter, which would include any state law or federal claims, specifically under the Fourth Amendment, that we could resolve this. Our opening demand was for $180,000, which is $20,000 less than the $200,000 sovereign immunity limit that exists here in Florida.
dude, this one was kind of strange. So I'm passing by, I see someone singing, so I was like, I'll dip in and check who it is. As I'm pulling in, he hides behind the pole. So I'm like, that's fucking strange. So obviously I need to talk to this guy. His business is closed.
Yeah.
I go talk to him, like, hey man. And he's like, am I being detained? I said, yes, you are. You're being detained.
Yeah.
And I asked him for ID. He said he doesn't have it. So he says, my ride's here, I'm going to leave. I said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And then I said, and that's why he was like, getting up to leave. And I pulled my taser out, and Drago started barking. I think he got a little worried, so he fucking started to comply then. But, so he's going to jail for resisting.
Where the hell's his ride?
That was his Uber right there. Oh. Apparently he works here, but, dude, he passed that point, and he's trying to jump in that and leave.
Yeah.
Why 180,000?
The purpose of that is to make sure that the city understands that we are serious about trying to resolve the case without having to file suit, and that it's within the sovereign immunity limit.
Is that his shit that's on the bench up here, too?
Yeah. I do believe that he works here. I mean, he looks like he's in workers' clothing, but I mean, he was going to try to dictate and tell me he was going to leave. So yeah, I'm not playing that game. No, he's going to learn, fortunately, the hard way. So
yeah. Demands that for damages that exceed the sovereign immunity limits are typically met with silence, because they know that the maximum that they would have to pay is that sovereign immunity limit, which otherwise, if you're forced to file a lawsuit, go to trial, get a damages award that exceeds that, you still wind up having to go to the legislature to file a claims bill. This is an arduous, complicated, frankly, arcane process to get damages from any municipality or other government agency in Florida.
It's pretty clear and simple. And
LMP to
yeah.
begin with.
He was hiding behind the fucking pole, which dude, that was fucking strange because I've never seen someone like get up off the bench and hide. He left his shit there too.
That's weird.
There's like a tablet and stuff on the bench.
Yeah, he was hiding behind the pole when he saw me pull in. I don't know. And then I asked him, he's like, my ride's here, I'm gonna leave. I said, no, you're not, dude. I said, you're detained. And then he went and fucking lied to himself. So yeah, he's fucked.
And so what happens next? Either they agree to pay some amount or negotiate, or you file a lawsuit?
Yes, the sovereign immunity notice letter, which we do send out even in every federal civil rights claim that we are hired to pursue. I don't like leaving any potential state law claims behind. When I file my lawsuit, I want to make sure that I include both federal and any state law claims against the individual officer or his employer. And to do that in Florida, after you present them with notice of your claims, the government agency has 6 months within which to investigate and pay or investigate and deny the state law claims, and frankly, all the claims. We would and have already been in touch with representatives of the city of Edgewater's insurer, because this particular municipality was insured. Many cities and counties in Florida do not have insurance. They're self-insured. But this particular city does have insurance. And I have already been in touch with their claims people. And as soon as we accumulate the rest of the documents that we need to prove up the damages that we've asserted, we will enter into pre-suit negotiations with the city and their insurer in the hopes that they will do the right thing and not put this young man through anything more than he's already been through.
Do you know where Officer Rippeon eventually ended up? Is he still working somewhere else as a police officer?
What I gleaned from the personnel record of this particular police officer and his separation, the city has had contact from another employer, another prospective employer in what appears to be the private security area. That's what it appeared to me. I don't know if he's been hired by that or any other company yet, but we were able to submit our notice letter directly to this police officer, his own personal email address. So he will not be difficult to find if, in fact, we need to file a lawsuit and get him served.
There you go, 9 months in from the initial video, and there's some justice here, some good news. Not perfect. There's still more to be done. Fortunately, this family was able to find a civil rights lawyer who was able and willing to help them. Dan Faherty is a great lawyer. I'll put his contact information in the description below if you're in Florida and you have need of his services. Hopefully, the city of Edgewater does the right thing here and compensates Paul for what their employee did to him. If they don't, a lawsuit will be filed, which will only cost the taxpayers more money. It was wrong what they did to Paul, end of story. Despite the available immunity defenses, where the government screws up, it should do the right thing and compensate the victim. What happened to Paul was terrible, and I hate that it happened, but it's also important because it shows the type of stuff that happens all the time, and nobody involved in the criminal justice system usually ever bats an eye at it. Why else would a police officer be doing this on video knowing that he's recording himself on video? Then they act surprised that the public gets outraged when they see that sort of behavior, whereas everyone inside the system seems to be just used to it. And it's time for that to change. Just treat people with respect. And also have a little respect for our constitutional rights. It's pretty simple. If I hear anything else, I'll do an update, and you can follow along by subscribing both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X at JohnBryanESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.